So, we always love tracking the great popularity or unpopularity of our Vice President, Kamala Harris. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen from our former employer over at The Hill, which is that Harris's bad polls trigger Democratic worries. Now, it turns out that Harris, as we talked to you previously, has a combined unfavorability rating of 46% in the aggregate average compiled by Real Clear Politics. That number is 3 points lower than Joe Biden's, okay? Now, that actually matters a lot because it's extremely rare to actually have a vice president who is more unpopular than the sitting president. And we didn't have time to make this tweet, but our producer James gave it to us, and I think it's hilarious. Kamala Harris, this is from Telegraph World News. Kamala Harris has become the most unpopular U.S. vice president 6 months into administration since the 1970s. So that is how bad things are going. It's remarkable, Krystal. Joe Biden, he was made by becoming vice president, just being like a nobody for 8 years under Obama. I mean, even Mike Pence was always way more popular than Donald Trump. Before that, I mean, we saw, I guess Dick Cheney might be an example of where it was polarizing, but, you know, Bush was so awful that people even liked Dick Cheney more than him. Al Gore actually was doing pretty well before that whole thing in 2000. So, you know, you go all the way back in history. George H.W. Bush, he became president because he was vice president. She is so bad at politics that becoming vice president has made her less popular. It's just absolutely astounding to watch.
So wait, she's less popular than Mike Pence and also less popular than Dan Quayle.
Yes,
Dick
the guy
Cheney,
who couldn't spell potato.
At this point, and then 6 months in, she is less popular than Dick Cheney was, guys. That's what we're talking about here. I mean, look, it's astonishing in one way, but another way, it was so predictable.
So obvious.
Like, you had a whole, you know, experimental demonstration of how this would go when she got every benefit in the Democratic primary. Media dying to make her have, giving her so much glowing press, pumping her up and her fashion and all this stuff to try to make people like her.
The Vogue thing.
And the voters were just like, no, no. We're not doing this. Like, this is not what we're all about. And couldn't make up her mind about what she wanted to be her campaign about. There were all kinds of inter-campaign drama, so it's not like she was an effective manager in terms of like running an office. Isn't good off the cuff. Was good in that one first debate when she was really prepared, and then immediately screwed that up, right? By being like, well, actually, I do agree with Joe Biden on busing, come to think of it. So you should have known, like, you had all the data there. It was clearly obvious to us and to many other observers that this was maybe not the right call. And the other thing that's funny here to me is that, you know, Clyburn, obviously very, very influential in terms of getting Joe Biden across the finish line. Biden destroys Bernie Sanders, essentially on the backs of black voters in the South. And the big concession that they got from that was Kamala Harris as vice president. Like, they're not getting voting rights legislation, you know, was a major priority. Civil rights groups, like, very focused on this. They're not doing anything with it. They're allowing Manchin to kill it.
Right.
So the only real thing that they got was Kamala Harris. And this is a disaster. And they don't know what to do. I mean, I've long said that I think if Biden is even remotely sentient to the point that they can prop him up, they're going to make him the nominee again, precisely because of this issue. But she was supposed to be the heir apparent. You know, this was supposed to be setting up the, you know, at least 12 years, possibly 16 years of future of neoliberalism within the Democratic Party. And you already have people going like, this is not a good situation. And it's very unusual for the vice president to be less popular than the president simply because of the fact that
they don't do anything.
You don't do much. So you're not at the center of these controversies. You don't become such a polarized figure. So the fact that, you know, she's managed to make herself a more polarizing figure, and I don't think that they've done her any favors by being like, you go handle the border crisis.
Yeah, you do the border.
Good luck with that, right?
In which she's like, I've been to the border, and Lester Holt's like, no, you haven't. He's like, you haven't been.
I mean, that's an issue where no matter, even the best of times, it requires someone who has a deft touch and like a deep understanding of the issues and all of that. And so that did make me wonder if there are some people there who are basically trying to sabotage her. And we've had leaks coming out of her office as well, so.
Yeah, I think, look, look, it's a total disaster. I have a friend of mine who thinks that, and he works in presidential polling. He thinks that Biden would have won Georgia and Arizona by 10 to 20,000 more votes if Kamala hadn't been on the ticket. That she was unique. You know, that message about President Kamala and all that, had resonated actually with a deep amount of people who were on the fence and who were like, hey, this guy is old and I can't stand this woman. And so that's where I think that, look, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but you can see with her at the top of a ticket, it's going to be a total disaster. So it's like a slow burn to complete and total failure at the highest level. And as you've pointed out, they're going to be like, oh, you're all racist and sexist for not supporting her. It's like, it's not about racism or sexism. It's just like, you suck.
This
personally.
is also coming from inside the House, right? This is like,
exactly.
This is criticism coming from inside the administration and from other Democratic strategists. And the issue for them is like, you're stuck with her now. Because if they did try to pull her and put in another vice president, like, yeah, they'd be the ones that would be tarred as racist and sexist. I mean, there's no way. You cannot do it, you know? And there's always these rumors. There were rumors about, oh, Trump's going to replace Pence. And there were rumors before about, like, Al Gore and whatever. And typically you end up, you know, sticking with the one that you initially ran with. But in this case, that's not remotely an option. So good luck, guys. Great choice there.
Good luck. All right.
Who could have seen it coming? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll have more for you later. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.